Welcome everyone to another Conversations in the Void. I'm your host, Graveyard, joined as always with my producer, Salem. Make sure to say hi to Salem in the chat. He does like hearing and reading your comments. He really does. He tells me every single day. But I'm pleased to introduce our guest for tonight. He is a third-time reoccurring guest now on the show. He was here 2 years ago promoting the Blue Hour, which is awesome. And last year we talked all about Phantasm and prep for the book that just came out. But please welcome writer, director, composer, and VFX artist with works including the Blue Hour, Beyond the Drumlins. Please welcome back to the Void, Dan Bowhers.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How you been?
Can't complain despite everything, but you are packing up to come to my neck of the woods here in a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'll be at Cinema Scares this weekend with Kowalski, who plays Jonathan, one of the leads in the new film.
Mm-hmm.
The dude I wrote it with, which was Mike G, who, if you've ever seen the TV show Oz, he plays one of the Italian gangsters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gets killed in like the funniest fashion. When he used to come over to my apartment, I'd have it queued up on YouTube just to like embarrass him. It was just like the most satisfying thing because you can hear his voice like so clearly, but it's obviously ADR. But when you know someone really well and like that it's them doing the ADR, it's
I'd say ADR has been more noticeable in some, say, Sony-verse movies in the past recent and just noticeably bad. But yeah, it's interesting that you were able to do that. And I've never had to do it, so I can't imagine trying to recapture my emotions at that point in time.
Oh yeah, I mean they did a terrible job on this TV show. It's great. I love watching that.
Yeah. So before we get into Beyond the Drumlins, which we're here to talk about, we have to talk about the Phantasm books. We talked Phantasm all of last year, and you had a chance to then read it. So what was that book like? Did it change your viewpoints on Phantasm at all?
No, I mean fiction's fun. It's really fun. There's some stories that I enjoyed more than others. I think in general, the writing style is not great. But if you like Phantasm, you're gonna like have a blast. There's a lot of great horror literature, so it's it's just kind of a bummer that it's not written better.
Right.
But there's some stories that give some context to some characters I think it really does add to the movie experience. And one thing that's great, and I think is like kind of a hallmark of course Corelli's work in general, is like none of the episodes, like it's like 5 novellas,
Yeah.
And none of them are the same. Like there's no similar, some happen before movies, some happen after movies, some happen in different realities, like midway through a movie. Like he's crazy. So I think that's awesome. Even if it's just, I'm being kind of a snob about the writing, I guess.
Well, I mean, it is your favorite movie essentially of all time, right?
Absolutely, which he wrote. So like,
right.
Fair enough. But
well, I mean, if you looked at Phantasm as a whole, because when you came on, we were sponsoring Phantasm last year for the movie marathon that we're going to here in a couple of days again. And we realized that like when he's writing the movies, it's like there's 9 years between each one. And it's kind of like he takes, he looks at other horror movies that took place in that 9-year span and then applies it to make Phantasm just feel different as a whole.
It's not like any other movie. It's awesome. It kind of has that like early 80s slasher vibe sort of, because you've got like that recognizable antagonist, just like the types of deaths and how it plays out. It sort of feels like a slasher, but it's the best. Want to just do another episode about Phantasm?
we can. Well, I mean, we have some time, so yeah. As I said, I don't want to spoil too much about Beyond the Drumlins, but I gotta ask: did it ever give more background to the tall man and what he actually is and where he's from in these short stories?
Not much, no.
No, it's a shame because we end Ravager with like even more questions, I think.
Yeah, like why did this get made?
Oh, that too, yes.
I remember when we talked about Phantasm, I like went off on Ravager a bit, which is not super cool, but I do kind of stand by a lot of what I said.
Well, he didn't write that one, I believe, right?
What?
He didn't write Ravager, did he?
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if that whole thing was just some sort of weird like Kickstarter thing a fan made, but
Oh, they're probably just trying to retain the rights to Phantasm. That it felt like that.
yeah, bummer movie.
Yeah, I thought he only did the first 4. I think I read that at some point in time. I think because he also did one of my favorite movies of all time, Bubba Hotep.
Oh, cool. That's a wild movie.
It really is. Yes, it is. But I was just looking up here and like, I didn't think he did the last one, but who knows? No, he didn't. Oh, he co-wrote it with the guy who directed it. So I feel like maybe the guy who directed it had way too much say in Ravager.
Yeah, it's a kind of a turd.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, because like I said, I know we already know the opening questions to the show. That's why I want to talk Phantasm a little bit. So let's get into Beyond the Drumlins. And like I said, I was lucky enough to get this screener from you. I absolutely enjoyed it. Like I said, I can't spoil too much, but how long after Blue Hour did you decide to start making Beyond the Drumlins? What was that entire process timeline look like for you?
Like after Blue Hour, I wrote a much bigger movie with Mike Kowalski. Mike Kowalski plays Jonathan, and he was the kind of like buddy character in Blue Hour.
Yeah.
And so Kowalski and I went to college together, and we just kind of always write. And we wrote, I think, 3 other scripts before we wrote Drumlins.
Okay.
So from Blue Hour in 2023 to now, that's when it's not even out yet. Like, it's doing festivals right now.
Yeah.
So it was pretty quick turnaround. So we ended up writing an awful lot of screenplays before we kind of like came to this idea of like, oh shit, we could actually just go do something instead of just writing these things that we can't make.
Right. Because I know you talked about doing, Blue Hour 2 essentially, right?
Oh no, it's always been a joke. I would never do that. Will never happen.
Okay.
Not to like be down on Blue Hour. I think it was fine. I don't have it in me to like make another fake documentary. It's just it's exhausting, and I don't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes into with Drumlins, like I said, not spoiling anything, but it's not a fake documentary. It's more traditionally shot film. And what was the difference for you between Blue Hour and Drumlins then with the style change?
We storyboarded everything for this because we shot in it was 17 days.
Oh wow.
So 17 days, 16 of them in the forest. Or 15 of them in the forest, excuse me. We had 2. We had one night for interiors and we had one exterior like elsewhere, but everything else was like on location. And it was pretty brutal in that regard. So that was different. The amount of camera equipment was different. We had so much more shit, so many more like things that needed batteries. And the number of crew was like, for us, it's, these are still tiny fucking movies, right? Like,
right.
We're talking, the smallest of small indies, but we still have like 20 something people like tromping through the forest, setting up sets with like 20-foot tall stone monoliths. Like, the movie gets pretty out there, and a lot of people volunteered, and just a lot of people kind of just lie, cheat, steal, and
it's guerrilla indie shooting.
Like we had permits and stuff.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't too when I hear guerrilla filmmaking, I think like you've got like literally a camera, no lighting. We really didn't have a lot of lighting, but we could at times. And there were enough bodies around that like you couldn't just be like downtown. You'd get in trouble.
Right.
We were like too big to be small, but too small to be big.
Yeah. And I get that. With our stuff that I'm part of Horror Dads, we don't do guerrilla stuff. We get permits for everything, and it's all found footage stuff, which, let's be honest, is easier to shoot. You don't require all the lighting. You have whatever you have. That's what you have with the lighting. But I was talking about this, I think earlier this year. We started doing our first traditionally shot movie, Vampire, and it was a 14-hour shoot, and it's probably from 1 p.m. till about 3 a.m. And, traditionally shot, for 14 hours, we got a whole 5 minutes stop. And, if the found footage, 14 hours, you have 14 hours worth of film to cut down.
I think found footage is really limiting a lot of the time. I just think the perspective was really fun to play with here. We shot like 1:6:6, so it's a bit of a boxy resolution, and it just really does a nice job in nature. You can get really great mediums on people, and wides still look really interesting. Yeah, I think the focus on cinematography in this was very rewarding. I think Blue Hour has a lot of like nice cinematography for like a in-world camera movie, but we had to really shoehorn that in by like making it the type of documentary that it is.
Right. Yeah, I definitely see that. And with Blue Hour and Drumlins, like I said, though, I think the coloring was great. The forest looked great. I don't think problem with forest typically is when you shoot and all the leaf crunching that exists out there and the twig snapping.
Oh man, it was one of the coolest things is like the monolith set was built underneath a bald eagle nest.
Oh,
you just kept finding these skulls all the time. Like they were just like, oh, that's like that was a raccoon.
Yeah,
definitely it added to the that energy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I like shooting in the woods myself just because it looks great. I don't think you'd ever build a set that looks as good as the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting kind of thing that like the types of movies that get really set buildy. I mean, I get why it happens. I mean, but I've always been drawn to a lot of European movies, or I mean, it's all going to sound really pretentious, but I have really good set dars, what it boils down to, and I like things where I really can just feel someone's home. Like Italian neorealism films do that the same way that like a 70s slasher or like a giallo film does, like something that just like has to do it that way.
Right.
And when you have to do it that way, there's like a commitment that has to happen for it to be good. And that doesn't always need to be the most expensive thing, but it's like, how do you do it the most effective way to push your story? And I think I totally agree with you. Like every set feels manufactured to me.
Yeah.
How many sets in like, especially 90s movies, like, did you ever go to people's houses and they had like those windows like this?
Oh man.
Like every set in a 90s movie had like a kid's room with these like perfect windows and stuff. Like no one lived like that. Bullshit.
No. And I was watching a video, I think a couple weeks ago, and people saying, oh, here's how you can tell this is the WB backlot because here's the fountain and the courthouse and Back to the Future. That's also
in Gremlins.
In Gremlins, that was also in Hocus Pocus and all that stuff. And as a kid, obviously, we don't know these things, but as an adult, you go, oh, yeah, that is there. And something that talked about set reuses, like Married with Children, which is shot, it's supposed to be a set in Chicago. You can see the Griswold family car driving through Chicago because they reused that footage from National Lampoon's Vacation for Married with Children.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like, it is a business at a certain point, which is why those sort of things happen, and that provides a lot of jobs. That also provides a certain level of control and professionalism that like is needed at certain levels of filmmaking. It's just you'd think that you could do some more interesting stuff because sometimes it just becomes so cookie cutter that like, well, why are we doing this at all?
Yeah, and that's why we review typically the mainstream Hollywood stuff because we don't feel bad bashing them at all for most of the stuff because like you have the time, you have the budget, you have the people, you have all the stuff more than what we have, and yet you still turn out a worse product.
I mean, I'll bash anything if it's bad, but I also try not to just. It's hard to always like think of movies in terms of like good or bad. Like, there's a lot of movies that I love that I probably wouldn't recommend people watch, but You just got to like kind of know your audience and know what you like and stuff like that. And I think that's more interesting because like if anything can be good or bad at the same time sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I that's the thing. Like I will forgive a lot of things because of budgetary stuff, but like if the writing's bad, the writing's bad. There's no amount of money you can throw at that's going to make it good. Looking at like Madam Web, Morbius, 50 Shades of Grey, the writing's bad, therefore the movie's bad.
But those are all like everything you just listed right there is like a product, right? Like these are not real active creations. I would imagine every one of those filmmakers was well paid to tap into a franchise that they probably didn't give a fuck about.
Right.
And that's probably a big part of why those movies are bad.
Yeah. I agree. And generally that's why I like horror, not the mainstream Conjuring stuff, but like horror, because early horror, especially in the 70s, 80s, Texas Chainsaw was indie. Halloween was indie. Evil Dead was indie. And it shows that the passion is there that we still only generally see in most indie things.
I keep saying, have you seen Marshmallow?
No.
It might be my favorite movie of the year. And it's like a $1.5 million. I wouldn't call it a small movie. Maybe I'm overestimating the budget. I don't know. Something in that range. But a proper, I think, SAG film. And it shows. It's a tier above like a lot of indie slasher, indie horror things. And I think they really use like their budget well. Like it's crazy to me how much closer that is to say Weapons than people kind of like even they just don't know about it.
Yeah.
Those are like my 1-2. I think I got to give a slight nod. Just like Weapons is great. It was one of my favorite experiences in the theater.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. It looks familiar. The name sounds familiar, but
Marshmallow.
Yeah,
it's great. It is like one of the most fun, like modern takes on a like a summer camp slasher.
Okay, I'm down for that all the time. That's why I have nothing but slashers on my arm.
It's super fun. You'll dig it.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely check that out. Salem, make note of that. I have to remember it. So you talk about the monolith that is. How heavy were they?
Heavy. They came in like 3 or 4 pieces. And we had to hike them in about a quarter mile. It was a physical shoot. Every day we were hiking at least half mile plus, but then the actors who were doing take after take, we have multiple scenes that were like these 3 to 4 page oneers. Like we were doing mental things that you shouldn't be doing at this kind of budget in the woods, and we got completely lucky.
Yeah,
like it didn't rain.
Yeah.
Upstate New York for 20 days in a row, like that doesn't happen.
We were in Connecticut in June for 8 days, and I think it rained 3.
Yeah, it's up here. It's just that it's supposed to be like rainy and gross in September, and we got super lucky and somehow turned the movie around in like 11 months.
Yeah, that's really impressive, and I gotta say kudos to the sound design, because it is unnerving and you can feel the tension in the music, and I think it works really well, because I always think that sound and lack of sound is a character in itself in the movie, and I think it is in Beyond the Drumlins.
Well, Johnny Tomasello did our music.
Okay.
And he's a really smart DJ, makes all kinds of weird atmospheric and ethereal sounding music. Mm-hmm. So he strapped himself in and watched the film, and he was measuring his brain. So he could then take all the activity in his brain, which is just up, down, and then he was running that through different synthesizers. So what we did was we then created the entire score of the movie, like 3 or 4 different times with different synths, different programming, all based off his like real world reaction to it without music.
Wow. I can't say I've ever heard anyone doing that before.
I don't know that anyone has. And I honestly, it's not always, it didn't like I don't think there's a single instance of our music in the film where it was like that was what he was reacting to. It all got nudged.
Okay.
Because you don't want someone to be just like, you want it to be like leading them in, or maybe you needed to like trail it out, or different things. Sometimes it was like blending them and then adding like a specific noise on top. But yeah, he's a madman, and he's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's something that I've always been looking for. Is stuff that I'm working on and making, is that we don't necessarily have a lot of ambiance in our stuff because it's found footage. It's something that we are working on. I'd love to meet more composers out there to put more music and stuff into our movies.
I feel like that's one that you can always find people looking for. Like there's always I get so many random composers reaching out to me. It's like, I don't think you understand how infrequently I make movies, guys. Like, I'm going to write something for like a year and a half or 2 years before I'm even like thinking about it. And then I'm probably just going to talk to my friends again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have not been hit by anybody. That's weird. You get hit up, throw them my way.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I mean, I constantly get these random contacts from it's always composers and people who make like key art for movies.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't need either of these things, but they keep coming.
Yeah. Now, did you do the VFX for this movie yourself?
Yeah, it was Glenn Teal and I did them. So it was like roughly, I want to say it was like 150 shots.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So we had 2 compositors, 150 shots, but it kind of like worked the VFX in. We started very early. So when I was cutting, Glenn started doing effects, and then I was cutting them in from day one.
Oh, wow.
So we were already like, we knew like what take. I guess not day one. Day one, I'm like loading footage and stuff.
Yeah.
By the time I'm actually editing the film, like beyond, like by the time I had everything sunk and all that kind of shit, we're getting down to the cut. I'm also cutting in VFX because I've already like made some selections. I've just been like, okay, I know that we need a VFX here. We're gonna need this here. So a lot of them we were able to sort out because we had done quite a bit of like pre-visualization and storyboarding. Like for a movie of this size, we knew we had to just like be ready and move fast. So everything was planned.
Yeah, I mean, it's storyboarding. It's I'd say an indie movie, kind of unheard of sometimes, but with 150 shots, you have to have it.
No, that was just 150 visual effects shots.
Yeah, right.
How many shots in the movie? I have no idea. There's hundreds.
Yeah, but man, did you draw the storyboards yourself?
No, Mike Hedford, who was our cinematographer, he had this like 3D program, so we could like put everyone in roughly 3D space and then just put a different camera sensor, and we would know like what the frame was going to look like.
Oh, wow.
It was like crude 3D. I forget the name of the software. It was pretty good. I mean, like the thing with storyboards, in my opinion, it's like they're great to have, if you have the ability to make them, or like even just like really detailed shot list.
Yeah.
Some structure. The problem is like you need to be able to be ready to like abort. Because like there were times like the things we had boarded didn't account for things like a high river.
Yeah.
Or we had like a 60-foot tree fall across one of the places we were supposed to shoot. So like that changed our trajectory and what we could use. And there were just shit happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The monolith wasn't placed in like we had like a hill. We were using the hill to like catch light. Well, then we couldn't shoot the way we had boarded it, and like that's fine. It was just you do what you can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. When you find out that software name, I'd definitely be interested in checking it out, because we are working on a couple things, and I'm actually working on, hopefully next year, a comic book creator wants me to adapt his comic book into a movie.
Cool.
Yeah, and we've been having a couple meetings about it, and I'm just going, the comic is our storyboard essentially, right?
Yeah.
which is great, but it's like we can't get the exact look of the comic because it's going to be damn near impossible because it's made up art for stuff that doesn't exist in the real world.
Yeah, and also then you start to realize, oh shit, I can't frame that.
Yeah. It's kind of like the piece. There's a guy that's going to, a scene is a guy ripping a metal shower curtain down and then impaling someone through a door with it. And I'm just going, we don't have that type of budget to be able to show that necessarily. And so we're just figuring out scenes that we have to cheat with it then, right?
And, yeah, there's ways you can cheat that.
Yeah. So what we were trying to figure out is whether we wanted to show the rod going to the person's body. So we're probably going to get some cheap, $3 from Target curtain rods, and then just get a piece of cloth and try different gelatins, try different mixtures, combination to make it look like it's actually going into meat, essentially.
I mean, I don't know. That's something I don't mess around with. Like, I think there's like certain tasks in making films that I'm just like, you know what? No. And it's like sound I don't fuck with. Like, there's always just like professional sound people.
Mm-hmm.
SFX and makeup, man. I don't get paid enough to deal with this shit.
Right.
I don't know. I just think like it is an art form, and if you're gonna take the time to do anything and like set up those kind of gags, it better look right. So I would just say do some screen tests, because you say gelatin. My first thought is like it's gonna be like you're cutting through ice cream. It's gonna look
yeah, we
need something a lot tougher.
Almost like ballistics jelly, maybe, or something. I don't know what I don't know. I have a special effects guy that's supposed to be doing that, but we try to figure out what looks the best. He's like, we could just use real meat. I go, I guess.
Are you shooting an interior?
Yeah,
that's gonna be great.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know about that, but we'll figure it out.
Real meat sounds like a lawsuit. Unless it's like in the woods and the crows are gonna have a good time after.
Yeah, it's just something that our special effects guys trying to think about what we can do. We'll see, we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's just those thought processes that I'm just like, I never had to think about that before.
You should reach out to Rashad Santiago. He's he did our SFX, and I'm working with him on a few other projects right now.
Okay.
I can send you his contact. Yeah. He's a fantastic artist. He did a bunch of stuff for us. He did that show. It's called like Face Off.
Yeah.
He won that.
Wow.
He won it, and I don't know what. I've never seen the show, but he just makes shit, which is cool to me. Like, he will do all kinds of crazy like prosthetic stuff, and then he'll just make like this random Dilophosaurus like hand mask that looks just like the character in Jurassic Park, but like 1/32 scale, and like fits on your hand. It's just like, super detailed artist, really good at figuring shit out. I don't know. I recommend him.
Yeah. I did tap another prop creator that does cosplays and horror houses and stuff like that. And like, the problem is he's all the way in California. We're shooting in Michigan. And it's like, we got to figure this out, because my SFX guy that's here locally to me has not done that stuff before. So we're having like a collaboration here, trying to figure out what can work the best and look the best. That way we can, instead of shipping 50 pounds of ballistic jelly to us, that we could just do it here ourselves. But that stuff melts in the heat.
Oh, gross. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the festivals, what that's been like for you in the process then.
Well, we did like a sneak preview at Panic Fest. Then after that, it was like, I was still like going through post. I think at that point we hadn't even locked our cut. So we kept going. And then we started to like we would just like get to another festival that was going to like have us, and we would send them the latest version. And then that was pretty much how it's gone until August 1st. It finally ended. We played like a few smaller festivals, Denver and Boston. And then there was the HP Lovecraft Festival.
Ooh.
which has been in Providence and then Oregon. That was cool. I went to that one. Played in New York City, which was fun just because most of the cast and crew were here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like a good time to, we didn't really get to like ever see Blue Hour together. It played a few festivals, but we didn't really travel much for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this weekend is Cinema Scares in somewhere Indiana.
Was it Shelbyville?
Yes, yeah, that's right. So, Shelbyville, yeah.
Yeah.
How is Shelbyville? What am I in for?
It's southern Indiana, so I'm just throwing it out there. You're going to a red state that's southern part of it, so.
Oh, shit. So I shouldn't like look suspicious.
No. Shelbyville's fine. It's been a while since I've been there, but it's fine. It's about 4 or 5 hours away from me, I think. So,
well, it's gonna be something. And then the next weekend, Kowalski, Nick Brandreth himself, and I are going to Pittsburgh for the Thriller Picture Show, which is put on by like the George Romero Foundation. And I think that's gonna be a fun festival. I don't know. Have you been to Pittsburgh?
not since I was a kid.
It's a weird place. I feel like it's like if it was like steam engines, what's that shit called?
Steampunk?
Yeah, if it was like steampunk America, Pittsburgh would have been like the joint. Like that would have been Manhattan. But it's like a different reality happened, and then Pittsburgh kind of got like left in the dark, and now it's sort of a bummer.
Yeah,
it was fun. Like I went there, and I was like, there's tons of bridges and weird things you can ride. So
we drove through Pennsylvania to get to Connecticut. From Chicago here. Yeah, we drove through Scranton. I don't know what else we drove through in Pennsylvania. We drove just around New York City. So
it's a dangerous place.
It was a long drive to say that to do in a day. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dan, we are at time. So give us your plugins and where can people find you, follow, and learn all about you and Beyond the Drumlins and check it out when it comes out for public consumption?
We're called Tiny Voice Films. We're on Instagram, and that's pretty much where you can find us, I guess.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And then after all these festivals, do you have like a distribution working out for Beyond the Drumlins?
It was co-financed by Black Mandala Films.
Okay.
So they're bringing it to AFM and doing the sales thing. So hopefully we'll have information at some point, but
awesome.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, let me know what's there, and I will spread the word of it when it comes out too, to get people to watch it as well.
Cool, man. Well, good seeing you again.
Of course. Well, thank you, Dan, as always. We'll have to do this once a year, if nothing else, right?
Cool. At least I have a recurring gig in my life.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dan, for coming on. And for everyone that's watching this live and in the future, make sure to check out Beyond the Drumlins in the near future when it comes out. I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you like sci-fi stuff. That's spoiling too much. So we'll see you next time. Don't get lost in the void. Good night.